If you are looking for something that can be made in a snap, then this one is for you. The best part, you get the free pattern for this cutie, which can be found in the description box down below. So, without further ado, let's get yarning! Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland! Today we are going to be creating this cute star keychain, which is beginner friendly and also very, very easy to make. So let's go ahead and pop that materials list right up here. And our first material that we'll be needing for our star keychain is, of course, our 3.75 millimeter hook. We need some yellow yarn. I am using this Premier Just Yarn, which is the color yellow. You are, of course, welcome to use any color you want. We need a pair of scissors. We need, of course, our best friends, these stitch markers. We cannot forget these guys. Come on, we cannot forget them. That's why they're our best friends. And of course, our lobster claw key ring. You can use the regular ring as well for this, but for purposes of this video, we will be using our lobster claw. Okay. Oh, and our darning needle as well. Duh. So, now that we've got that settled, get out of the way materials list and let's zoom in and let's get started. So first things first, we are going to grab our yarn and we are working in rounds for this video. So let's put our hook on the side here while it waits for us, because we are going to create a magic ring. If you do not know how to make a magic ring, I do have a quick short that you can click over here really quick, or you can just follow along on this video. It is very easy. For some reason, people dislike magic rings. I don't know. I just think they're the coolest thing ever and super easy to make. And the more you use it, the more the more you'll like it. Okay, so we've made our magic ring here, and what we're going to do, for those who are new, we are going to be working into our magic ring. This is how rounds work, for those who are new. That's why I said that earlier. So we are going to be working into the center here of our magic ring. This whole thing is the magic ring. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do 5 single crochets into that middle part of the magic ring. I'll show you how that works. So you put your hook right in the center there. We're going to yarn under. Normally, when you are crocheting, you are going to do a yarn over. That's what most people do. But we're going to yarn under because we want to make sure that our stitches are nice and tight. And the reason is because we're going to stuff our star a little bit to give it that little puff to it. So we have our yarn under, and we're going to pull that yarn right in there. So we're pulling up a loop. So if you hear people say pull up a loop, that's what you're doing. And we're going to yarn over and then pull through those 2 loops right there. And you've got your first single crochet. Since we have our first single crochet there, we are going to mark it up. This is very important, especially for you beginners, because you could very easily lose your spot since we are working in rounds. The beginning ends up your end, so you will see what I mean if you don't know what that means. Okay, so we got our first one. We're gonna make 4 more of these. So you're gonna go ahead and put your hook into that circle. So this is called a magic ring or magic circle. Okay, so go right into the center of that circle. You're going to yarn under. You pull up your loop. You're going to yarn over, which is the regular way, and just pull it through those 2 loops there that are on your hook. Okay, I'll do it one more time for you. We're gonna go in that ring here. You're gonna yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through these 2 loops that are on your hook already. Just pull right through them, just like that. Okay, so you've got 3 single crochets. Go ahead and create your last 2 exactly the same way, because we're gonna have 5 single crochets in this ring. because a star has 5 points. Okay, so now that you've got your 5 single crochets in your magic circle, we're going to take a look at this. Ready? So beginners, follow along. Advanced beginners, you know what to do. We're going to close our magic ring. So when you're closing your magic ring, you are going to avoid this yarn. This is the yarn that is connected to your yarn ball, skein, skein, whatever you want to call it, or yarn cake. But we're going to leave that alone. Do not touch that. And we're going to grab the other strand, and maybe a little bit longer than mine. But what you're going to do is you're going to pull this, and what it's going to do while you're pulling it is that it's going to close. You want to hold the rest of your stitches here so that way it can actually do its thing. So you go ahead and pull, pull, pull all the way until it is closed all the way. And just be careful not to snap that string, because then you will have to start all over. Okay, so you've got your magic circle here is gone, right? The center is all closed in. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to work into this next stitch, which is your first stitch, okay? And we are now working in our round 1. I consider this next round, round 1. The magic ring plus the 5 single crochets are kind of like the start off. So round 1 is where we are right now. That's if you're following along, which you should be. Go ahead and grab your free pattern, description box down below. Don't forget, it is free. I promise you, free, free, free. Okay, so I'm going to remove my stitch here so it's a little bit easier to get into that stitch, because it is a little on the tighter side. I may have to frog this, because you do not want to do that. You do not want to have your stitch too tight to the point where you can't even put your hook in there. And I just freshly cut my nails, so it is hard. Okay, so what we're going to do, I did not explain. Put your hook in there if you want so you can follow along. What we're going to do is that we're going to do an increase. What an increase is when you do 2 stitches into 1 stitch. And the increase that we're doing is just 2 regular single crochets, okay? So put your hook in there if you haven't already, and we're going to continue doing the yarn under, yarn over technique. So go ahead and yarn under and pull up your loop. Remember, pulling up your loop is when you put it through that stitch that you're in, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and finish our single crochet. So you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops that are back there on your hook, and you just made your single crochet. Go ahead and grab your stitch marker, because you do not want to forget where you started your round. So go ahead and create another single crochet into that same stitch, okay? So go into the same one you just finished in and do yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops on your hook. Okay, so you've just made 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, meaning you just made your first increase. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that into each stitch from the previous startup. Okay, so that means you will have 10 single crochets in total, 10 stitches. So I'll show you again how to do the increase into this next stitch here. So you put your hook right into that stitch, you yarn under, you pull up your loop, so pull it right through that stitch you were in, you yarn over, and you pull through your 2 loops. I'm laughing because I keep messing up my words. Okay, so now we're going to do the increase. So go ahead back into that same stitch, put your hook in there, yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops that are on your hook. Okay, so now you've got 4 stitches on there. So go ahead and continue creating your increases into each stitch using that yarn under, yarn over technique, and come back when you have finished that, and you will have 10 stitches in total. Okay, so I'll see you there. Alright, so I've got my 10 stitches here, also known as the 5 increases, and this actually finishes the first part, because the way that this is made is that we are going to create 2 circles, and we're going to connect them together with the 5 points. Okay, so go ahead and create your second circle. You want to fasten off with a long length, not super long, but long enough. And to fasten off, you literally just pull that right off. just like that. Okay, and you don't have to worry about it because it does not unravel because you have made your stitch already. So go ahead and create your second circle and come on back when you finish. Okay. Alright, welcome back. We've got our 2 circles here, and what we're going to do is that we're going to sandwich these 2 together back to back, just like so. So go ahead and place them together wherever you wish, and grab the pieces out of the way. So go ahead and grab your hook and go into one of the stitches in the front here, and go right behind into the second circle in the back and go through that stitch as well. We're going to grab our yarn, our working yarn. Go ahead and put it right onto your hook and pull that hook right back into that stitch. Okay, so we've got our circles together. They're not attached completely, so do not let go. Do not let go for dear life. Now go ahead and chain 3. So chain 1, 2, and 3. Good. And we're going to tighten that piece in there that you are working with. So go ahead and pull it a little bit so that way you can tighten it. And we're gonna start working into this next stitch here. So this stitch is a little bit more complex, but I do promise that it is still easy, okay? If I can do it, you can do it. Now, go ahead and grab the pieces that are inside your stitch, or inside your circles, and kind of just pull it down here so it's out of the way. And then the other pieces that are kind of hanging out, we're gonna actually put those right into the center of the circle. I know it sounds a little confusing, but I promise it's not. Okay, so now this piece here, which is from the yarn that you just attached, we're going to sew that into your piece as we're going. I will show you how that goes, so do not worry. I will go step by step. Okay, so just get those pieces out of the way down here. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go into the next stitch here. And no need for stitch markers because we're going to finish where we started. So into that next stitch, you want to do a puff stitch. Now, what is a puff stitch? What we're going to do is that we're going to yarn over first. Instead of doing the yarn under, yarn over technique, that we're done with that. Get that out of your head. Okay, so go ahead and yarn over and go into that next stitch in the front here and go right across into the back of circle 2. Okay, so both sides, both stitches. Okay, so we've got our hook through the stitches in the front and the back. We're going to grab this piece of yarn, which is the yarn that we're going to weave in as we work, and put it right on top of your hook there. Okay, now grab your working yarn, which is the one that's attached to your ball. Okay, so your yarn, and we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, and just pull it up kind of the same level as the 3 stitches here, and we're going to do that again. So yarn over and go into that same stitch right in there. Okay, yarn over and pull up your loop. Okay, good. Now we're going to do that one more time. So yarn over and go into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up that loop. Okay, so we did that 3 times. Now it's ready. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on our hook. Okay, and next is that we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through the first 6 loops on your hook. So carefully pull through just like that. Okay, and yarn over once more, and you're going to pull through those 2 hooks there, or sorry, 2 loops. Okay, we're going to marker this right here because we're gonna go into that stitch. If you think you can remember where that is without stitching it, then that's fine too. Now go ahead and chain 2. We're gonna go back into that puff stitch there, and we're doing a slip stitch. Now that's why you have to mark it if you don't think you can find it. So go into that stitch there, and you're going to yarn over and pull up your loop, and it's a slip stitch, so go right in there, that, okay? So it makes kind of like a little point. Good, great, so this is what it should look like so far. So we've got our puff, our chains, and then our slip stitch at the top there. Now let's go ahead and do another chain 3. So chain 1, 2, and 3. Good. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch of the circle here. So go right into the front like we did in the other one, and go into the back one as well. Okay? And before you do your slip stitch, you want to make sure that all those pieces are kind of like out of the way. And the piece that you're working on is going to be weaved in as well. So go ahead and yarn over and pull through your circles, your stitches, like that, and go in there because we're making a slip stitch, just like that. Okay, so we got our first point there. Okay, that was a little complicated. I know I said it was easy, but I promise it really is easy once you get the hang of it. So let's go ahead and create another point. I'll show you how to do it. By the way, if you do not want to weave this in as you're working with your points, you can weave all your pieces in before we even get to this point, okay? So you can leave it out if you want as well, and then weave it in at the end. You do whatever is easiest for you, okay? So now what is next is that we are going to chain 3. So chain 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to go into the next stitch there, and we're going to create a puff stitch again, which is those yarn overs, okay? So yarn over first, and go into your next stitch in the front, and then in the back. If you're carrying over and weaving in your piece, go ahead and carry that over. Now go ahead and do your puff stitch, so you yarn over and pull up your loop, and pull it up to kind of align with the other ones. That. Yarn over, go back into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up your loop. That's 2. Do it one more time. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop. That's the 3rd time. Now you should have the 7 loops on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're going to yarn over and pull that right through the first right through the first 6 loops. Okay, so carefully go right in there like that. Okay, so you got 2 loops left on your hook, and we're going to do like if it's a regular single crochet, you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, so you got your puff stitch there. Now go ahead and chain 2 and go back into that stitch, which is the top of your puff stitch. And you're doing a slip stitch right in there like that. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go into the next stitch here and create a slip stitch. Okay, so go into the stitch in the front and the back, carry your piece over if you're weaving it in, and do your slip stitch like that. Okay, so you got your second point there. You're going to create 5 points. So go ahead and create your 3rd point, and once you finish that, come on back and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next before we finish up. Since I got you here, before you finish your 2 points, what we're going to do is that we're actually going to put all of these pieces right into the center of our circle here. And that is what is going to give it that little puff to it. So if it's too much, you can cut some of the ends off, and that way it doesn't expand your star too much, because then it'll look a little funky, just like that, because it does look a little funny right now. It's overstuffed, it ate too much. But go ahead and stuff your ends in there, and if you did weave them in before, that is completely fine. What you just do is that you're going to get some polyfill, or if you do save your ends from other projects, you can literally just stuff it in there with that. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna leave you, and I will see you once you get your last 2 points of your star. Okay, all Alright, you guys, I'll see you there. So I am at the end here. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do a slip stitch into that first stitch in there, which is the last stitch of this round. But this is the stitch where the first chain 3 is coming out of. That is where you're going to do your slip stitch. So go right in there. Go through both the front and the back, of course, just like we have been doing. Yarn over and do your slip stitch, just like we have been doing. Okay? Good! Alright, so that ends that. What we're going to do is that we're going to cut off our end. And you want to cut off a long enough end so that way we can use it to sew up our keyring to it. Okay, so sew up a good length. Okay, so since you fasten off, you can go ahead and pull that right out like so, and you have finished your star portion. And now we can attach the keyring to finalize it and make it look all cute. We're going to grab our key ring and also our darning needle, which is what we're going to use to attach our key ring. Go ahead and thread your yarn into your darning needle, and we're going to grab our key ring once you get that in there and put the yarn, the needle, right through the bottom circle here and put it all the way to the end here. And I know that this is attached here at the kind of like the between, I like to call it the crotch of the 2 points, but we don't want the key ring to be attached to that portion of the star. What we want to do is that we're going to bring it over here to the center like this, and we're going to kind of angle it in a manner that it stays in the center here. So keep your key ring attached there so that way it doesn't move out of the way and that it stays in the spot that you want it to. So I like it in the middle of that point there, and I'm gonna go ahead and go through over here on this side, the other side of the crotch, and I'm going right through there. Okay, right through both sides, right through the front of my star. Okay, so that kind of attaches there a little bit. And now I'm flipping it. You don't have to flip it around and stuff if you don't want to. I'm just doing this so you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to go ahead into the center here, and I'm going to put my needle right through there, right through the middle, right through there. And because it's yellow, you won't be able to really see it. Okay, so go right in there like that, and it goes with it because it does have that puff stitch, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so it's a little bit wobbly, so what we're gonna do, I don't want it too high up, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go through the loop here, go right through there, and that's gonna kind of like bring it down. Bring it right down to earth here. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into that space again where you came through. So that way it goes right in the front there. And just pull it right through so that way it kind of like makes the ring stay in place. Do not worry if it looks a little funky right now. That will hide away as you continue to go back and forth into that hoop in there. So we got there. So now I'm going to go back into this side here, the other side of the crotch, so that way it's even. Right in there. And we're going to go back here in the back. And we're just going to keep going back and forth. So go right in there, through the hoop, and through the front. Just like so. Okay? Going right through. Make sure it doesn't get caught to anything. I'm flipping the star over front and back so you can see what I'm doing. Okay? So just like that. And now I'm going to go back into this crotch side over here on this side. Go through, and you're just going to keep that pattern going. So go to the crotch, go to the back, go through the loop and the stitch so it can stay in place. So now I've got my chain where I want it, right in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the circle here. Just go right in there like that. Just like that. This is just kind of tightening it a little bit more, just to make sure that it really stays still. Okay, good. Now that that's good, I'm satisfied. You can keep going if you want, but I'm going to end it here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a knot. So to create a knot, you're going to go right into like a little thread, so that way you can create your knot. So I chose this spot here, and you're going to go through and leave a little loop like this, okay? And just put your needle through that hoop there and pull through, and that's going to create your knot. And you're going to create a knot again in the same spot. So go as close as you can, go into that hoop, and create that knot. Okay? So now what we're going to do is that we're going to hide this thread. So I'm going to go over here like this. Just like that. And just keep going in and out from one side to the other. And this is slowly hiding your thread into the center of your keychain. Just like that. Okay? And just keep going until you're satisfied and you think that it's going to be safe to cut it off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut mine off. So you stretch it. Stretch it as much as you can. And you're just going to cut right at the edge there. Try not to cut the rest of the keychain, and it's good. And you can move the things out of the way, and you are done. You have just created your cute little star keychain. As you can see, this star looks a little puffy, so I'm going to call this my chubby star. And this is my first star, which is my thinner star. But yes, so you can make these stars whatever color you want. 4th of July is coming up, so you can literally create red, white, and blue stars like these ones. And you can just sell them, keep them for yourself, give them as gifts, as like a packet of 3 for the 4th of July. Or you can even have fun and create one star made out of those 3 colors of the red, white, and blue. And it will look a little bit like this. And that is all. We have finished our star keychain here. It was easy, wasn't it? Go ahead and click that thumbs up if you agree. And if you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you do create this cute pattern yourself, definitely tag me on Instagram at Amparo Wonderland. I would love to see your creations. So, without further ado, this video is at its end. So if you did like this video, definitely check out this video over here, which you are going to love because there are so many other patterns on there for you. So as always, thank you for coming by, and I'll see you there. Bye everyone.